Let me ask you something simple. When was the last time you actually sat down with your blood sugar numbers? Not just heard from a doctor that you were borderline, walked out with a prescription, and moved on, but really understood what those numbers mean for your kidneys, your eyesight, your nerves, and the next 20 years of your life. Because here is what most adults over 60 never get told. High blood sugar does not hurt. It does not send you a warning signal, a sharp pain, a moment where you think, okay, something is seriously wrong. It silently, continuously deposits damage inside your blood vessels, your nerve endings, and your organs for years, sometimes for a decade before anything shows up on a scan. And the frustrating part is you can feel perfectly fine, decent energy, no obvious symptoms, nothing alarming, just that one number creeping up year after year on your annual checkup. Now imagine this. 8 weeks from today, you go back for a blood test. Your doctor looks at the results and says, "What exactly have you been doing? Your fasting glucose dropped 30 points. Your A1C is moving in the right direction. And you did not add a single new prescription to your routine." That is not fantasy. That is what consistent, targeted lifestyle change can achieve for most people in your position. And today I'm going to give you exactly 7 evidence-based strategies to get there. But I need you to stay until the second half of this video, because I am going to name 2 supplements that millions of people are taking right now, believing they are getting natural blood sugar support. One of them has been linked to serious kidney damage. The other has documented cases of liver failure. Both are marketed as natural alternatives to medication. I will name both of them, explain exactly why they are dangerous, and tell you what to do instead. So before you go anywhere, stay with me. Most people who try to lower blood sugar start by cutting sugar. Less candy, less soda, less dessert. And that matters. But here is what they miss entirely, and what most doctors never take time to explain. Your body does not distinguish between a teaspoon of table sugar and a slice of white bread once it hits your digestive system. Both are broken down rapidly into glucose. Both spike your blood sugar. Both trigger a surge of insulin from your pancreas. And after 60, your pancreas is less equipped to handle those repeated surges efficiently. The real target is not just sugar, it is the glycemic load of your entire diet, the total speed and volume at which food converts to glucose in your bloodstream. A landmark study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that replacing high glycemic index foods with low glycemic alternatives, not eliminating carbohydrates entirely, produced an average reduction in fasting blood glucose of 9 to 13% over 12 weeks in adults with elevated blood sugar. Here is what that looks like practically. White rice becomes cauliflower rice or brown rice eaten in smaller portions. White bread becomes sourdough or whole grain rye. The fermentation and fiber slow glucose absorption significantly. Instant oatmeal becomes rolled oats cooked slowly. Russet potatoes become sweet potatoes or cold potato salad where resistant starch keeps glucose release gradual. You are not removing carbohydrates, you are upgrading them. That mental shift is everything. Now this next one surprises almost everyone, and the research behind it is genuinely remarkable. A study published in Diabetes Care found that eating food in a specific sequence during a meal, vegetables and protein first, carbohydrates last, reduced post-meal blood sugar spikes by up to 37% compared to eating carbohydrates first. Same foods, same calories, completely different blood sugar response based purely on the order of consumption. Here is the mechanism. When you eat fiber-rich vegetables first, that fiber forms a physical barrier in your digestive tract that slows the absorption of glucose from the carbohydrates that follow. When you eat protein first, it triggers the release of gut hormones that slow gastric emptying. Food moves more slowly from your stomach into your intestine. By the time the carbohydrates arrive, your system is primed to handle them far more gradually. In practical terms, at every meal, eat your salad, your vegetables, or your protein first. Give them 5 to 10 minutes before moving to the starchy portion of your plate. That simple sequence change costs nothing and requires no new foods whatsoever. I had a patient who made this one change, nothing else, and his post-meal blood sugar readings dropped consistently within 2 weeks. He called it the easiest thing he had ever done for his health. He was right. Quick question for you right now. Have you ever tried eating in this sequence? Write yes or no in the comments. I am genuinely curious how many people watching have already heard about this. Your muscles are the largest glucose disposal system in your body. When your muscles contract during physical activity, they absorb glucose from your bloodstream directly without requiring insulin to do it. That mechanism is called non-insulin mediated glucose uptake. And after 60, When insulin sensitivity is declining, activating this alternative pathway becomes critically important. Research published in Diabetologia found that 3 10-minute walks after meals reduce 24-hour blood sugar levels more effectively than a single 30-minute walk at another time of day. Post-meal is when blood glucose peaks. That is exactly when your muscles need to be activated. You do not need a gym. You do not need equipment. You need to stand up within 30 minutes of finishing a meal and walk for 10 minutes, around the block, around your living room, down the hallway and back. It does not matter where, it matters when. Patients who implement this single habit consistently, 3 short walks daily after meals, see measurable changes in their fasting glucose within 3 to 4 weeks. Not because they are exercising intensely, because they are activating their most powerful natural glucose disposal system at precisely the right moment. The acetic acid in apple cider vinegar inhibits alpha amylase and alpha glucosidase, enzymes in your digestive tract responsible for breaking down starches into glucose. When those enzymes are slowed, glucose enters your bloodstream more gradually. The spike flattens. The insulin demand decreases. A study published in the Journal of Diabetes Research found that consuming 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar diluted in water before a high-carbohydrate meal reduced post-meal blood sugar by an average of 20% in adults with insulin resistance. Here is the exact protocol. 1 to 2 tablespoons of raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar diluted in a full glass of water. Drink it 15 to 20 minutes before your 2 largest meals of the day. Always diluted. The acidity undiluted can damage tooth enamel and irritate your esophagus over time. 2 tablespoons maximum per dose. Consistent daily use matters far more than occasional high doses. When you sleep fewer than 6 hours per night, your body releases elevated levels of cortisol and growth hormone, both of which signal your liver to release more glucose into your bloodstream. At the same time, sleep deprivation reduces insulin sensitivity in your peripheral tissues by up to 25%, according to research published in the Annals of Internal Medicine. Your cells become less responsive to insulin even if your pancreas is producing it normally. The result, your fasting blood sugar is higher the morning after poor sleep, even if you ate perfectly the night before. If this happens consistently over weeks and months, your A1C climbs, not because of your diet, because of your sleep. After 60, sleep architecture changes, deep sleep decreases, nighttime awakenings increase. Many older adults accept this as simply getting older, but the metabolic consequences are real and measurable. The practical interventions that have the strongest evidence: keep your bedroom below 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Eliminate light exposure completely, including standby lights on devices. Stop eating 2 to 3 hours before bed. And limit alcohol in the evening. Alcohol fragments sleep architecture even when it helps you fall asleep initially. Consistent 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep is not a luxury for someone managing elevated blood sugar. It is part of the protocol. Over 48% of Americans are estimated to be deficient in magnesium, and that deficiency has a direct documented impact on blood sugar regulation. Magnesium is required for more than 300 enzymatic reactions in the body, including the function of insulin receptors on cell membranes. When magnesium is insufficient, insulin receptors become less responsive. Your cells are less able to absorb glucose efficiently even when insulin is present. Insulin resistance increases. A meta-analysis published in Diabetes Care reviewed 25 randomized controlled trials and found that magnesium supplementation significantly improved fasting blood glucose and insulin sensitivity in adults who were magnesium deficient, with greater effects seen in individuals with higher baseline blood sugar levels. Food sources first: dark leafy greens, pumpkin seeds, black beans, almonds, and dark chocolate above 85% cacao are among the richest dietary sources. If your diet is consistently low in these foods, a magnesium glycinate supplement, 200 to 400 mg taken in the evening, is one of the most evidence-backed, low-risk interventions available for blood sugar support. Magnesium glycinate specifically because it is the most bioavailable form and least likely to cause the digestive discomfort associated with magnesium oxide, which is the cheap form found in most low-quality supplements. A 12-hour overnight fast means simply this: if you finish dinner at 7 p.m., you eat nothing until 7 a.m. No late-night snacking, no early morning eating before that window closes. During the final hours of a 12-hour fast, your body depletes its glycogen stores, the glucose stored in your liver, and begins drawing on fat for energy. This process, called metabolic switching, directly lowers circulating blood glucose and dramatically improves insulin sensitivity the following morning. Research published in Cell Metabolism found that time-restricted eating within a consistent daily window, even without calorie reduction, significantly improved fasting glucose, insulin levels, and blood pressure in adults with metabolic syndrome over 12 weeks. You are not starving yourself. You are giving your insulin system the overnight rest it needs to reset its sensitivity. Finish dinner earlier. Stop eating after that. Wake up and let that window close naturally before your first meal. That is the entire intervention. Now I need to stop here, because we have covered 7 solid strategies, and I want to be honest with you about something important. For some of you, and I would estimate this applies to a significant number of people watching, there is a pattern that will silently undermine everything we just discussed, and it involves 2 specific supplements that are enormously popular in the natural diabetes support space right now. Pay close attention here. The first one is bitter melon extract in concentrated capsule form. Bitter melon is a food consumed as part of a regular diet the way it has been eaten in Asian and Caribbean cultures for generations, carries a reasonable safety profile. Concentrated bitter melon extract capsules are a completely different matter. Multiple case reports and clinical reviews have documented significant hypoglycemic episodes, blood sugar dropping dangerously low, particularly in older adults taking bitter melon extract alongside metformin or other diabetes medications. The interaction is unpredictable and the dosing in supplement products is unregulated. There is no standardized concentration. There is no safety threshold established for older adults with declining kidney function. If you are already managing blood sugar with any medication, concentrated bitter melon extract carries a real and undisclosed risk of making your blood sugar drop too far. That is not a natural benefit. That is a medical emergency waiting to happen. The second supplement is chromium picolinate at high doses. Chromium in small amounts is a trace mineral your body uses in glucose metabolism. That is real. The problem is the dose. Chromium picolinate supplements are commonly sold at 400 to 1,000 micrograms per capsule, with marketing suggesting higher doses produce better blood sugar results. The research does not support this, and what the research does document at high doses is chromium accumulation in the kidneys, with studies showing chromosomal damage at sustained high-dose exposure. After 60, kidney filtration rate naturally declines. Accumulation of any heavy metal, including chromium, is a more significant concern than it would be at 40. You do not need a supplement to address chromium. Whole grains, broccoli, green beans, and lean meats provide adequate chromium through food without any accumulation risk. Natural and safe are not the same thing. That distinction matters enormously when we are talking about your kidneys. Now let me show you what happens when you stack all 7 of these strategies together. You upgrade your carbohydrates, glycemic load drops, glucose enters your bloodstream more gradually. You eat vegetables and protein before starch. Post-meal spikes flatten by up to 37%. You walk for 10 minutes after each meal. Your muscles absorb glucose directly without insulin. You take apple cider vinegar before your 2 largest meals. Digestive enzymes slow. Glucose absorption becomes more gradual. You protect your sleep. Cortisol drops. Insulin sensitivity recovers overnight. You address magnesium. Insulin receptors function more efficiently at the cellular level. You implement a 12-hour overnight fast. Your liver resets. Fasting glucose drops. Insulin sensitivity improves each morning. None of these changes alone is revolutionary, but all of them together, running simultaneously. That is when you start seeing fasting glucose drop 30 points and your doctor asking what you have been doing differently. This is what no single prescription addresses. A prescription manages one variable. This protocol changes the entire metabolic environment your body operates in. The patients I have seen make the most meaningful, lasting improvements in their blood sugar were not the ones who did everything perfectly. They were not the ones who never had a slice of birthday cake or missed a post-meal walk. They were the ones who made the right changes consistently, week after week, month after month, and kept going even when progress felt slow. Because blood sugar is not a sprint. It is a reflection of your daily habits accumulated over time, and your habits over the next 90 days will show up clearly in your next A1C result. Think about what stable blood sugar actually means for you, not just a number on a lab report. It means protecting your eyesight. It means keeping feeling in your feet. It means your kidneys working the way they should for the next 20 years. It means your independence. If you are going to start one of these strategies today, and I hope you will, tell me in the comments which one you are choosing. The morning walk, the food sequence, the overnight fast. I read every single comment, every one. If this was useful to you, please hit that like button and subscribe. Share this with someone over 60 in your life who is managing their blood sugar right now. You may be giving them something their doctor has never taken the time to explain. Everything I have shared here is for general educational purposes only. It is not personal medical advice. Your individual situation is unique. Before making changes to your diet, supplements, or lifestyle, please speak with your own physician, especially if you are currently taking medication for diabetes or blood sugar management. This is Dr. Marcus T. Thorne. Take care of your blood sugar. Take care of your body. It has carried you a long way, and with the right support, it will carry you much further. I will see you soon.